Welcome to Monster Monday. So, continuing on with George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, the Dead franchise, whatever you want to call it. Diary of the Dead, a franchise that in its fifth film decides to go the found footage route, which I had previously stated I don't know of any other franchise that has ever done this. I know of no other big name franchise that started with completely normal films and then multiple entries later went found footage. I know Friday the 13th was supposed to do it, but they did not, obviously. So yeah, this is the only one that I'm aware of, big franchise that went found footage for one of their movies. And let me tell you, this was a film that I was really hoping to like. Of course, I always hope to like every movie that I watch, right? But I've really enjoyed or loved all four of the other ones, and I was like, oh man, I really, really hope that this can stay consistent and that I can be on the side of the defense of this movie, because so many people hate it. And I've seen a few people in the comments be like, oh man, I love Diary. And I'm like, oh man, I hope I'm one of those people. I really do. And unfortunately, I'm definitely not one of those people. I thought this was pretty much completely dreadful. Like, shockingly so. Like, I was really blown away by how bad I thought this movie was. Like, I was like half an hour in and I didn't want to watch any more of it. Like, if I didn't have the channel and I hadn't committed to watching it and reviewing it, I would have shut it off. Like, I was really that annoyed and turned off to the movie. This is supposed to be a parody, right? That's the intention here. It's Romero poking fun at the horror genre and the zombie subgenre that he helped create. That this is his scream, so to speak. Is that the attempt here? It's a humor, it's a comedy, it's a parody. I didn't think it worked like that at all. I didn't find it funny. And if it wasn't trying to be a comedy, then it's even worse. So at first, for the first maybe half an hour, I was thinking, is this supposed to be straightforward? Like, is this supposed to be, like, legit serious? And then there's a couple things that happened, and I was like, okay, so this is trying to be self-referential. It's supposed to be self-aware. So it must be a comedy, right? I mean, it's a parody kind of thing. But I just didn't find it working in any of those ways, and I basically... Here's the thing. Here's, I think, where this film fails pretty much out the gate. So it tries to be an origins movie, essentially. Like, this is showing the start of the zombie apocalypse happening, even though this is in the 2000s. You know, it doesn't matter. I've talked about this before with this franchise. You just got to pretend that these films take place in the same era, even though they clearly don't, if you want to connect them, because they all clearly do not take place in the same era, so how the hell can they possibly be connected? Doesn't matter. But it tries to be an origin film, and it goes from 0 to 100 so fucking fast, and the characters that they have in the film are never set up to be likable, to have any interest in them, so that their dramatic bits can work. But then the dramatic bits aren't supposed to be taken seriously dramatic because it's a parody comedy thing. But it seems like it's really trying to be pretty serious in the opening of the movie, and then it kind of starts to go in more of a parody direction later on. Maybe like they were like a quarter of the way into shooting, and then they said to themselves, this isn't really working. Maybe we can go for some comedy instead, go parody. I don't know what's going on here, but it just like, it fucking so fast goes from introducing us to these kids who are making their little horror movie And the girl, of course, has to look at the camera and say, like, why does the girl always gotta fall down? Why does the girl always gotta show her boobies? Like, that kind of stuff to me, okay. Like, we get it. We get the rules of horror. We got it. We got it in Scream. We've got it in fucking 1,000 films since Scream that came out before this movie. We don't need to point out the tropes of horror within horror anymore. You know, unless it's something that's clearly never, like, almost never been discussed. But even then, I'm really tired of the self-aware horror gag of, oh, well, this is a horror movie, wink, wink, and we know all the tropes, and the audience is going to be like, I'm a horror fan too, and I get that. I get that reference. I've seen girls fall down, go boom, show boobie. Like, just, I don't know. This film, and like a single character, not one, I felt no relation to any of them for any reason. And they have dramatic moments. Like, a girl fucking stumbles onto her family. And this is actually like a really good moment. Like, I was thinking about this while watching this. This girl has to find her family dead, but then has to watch them killed again. So it's like double death. It's like you have to see them as zombies, so now you've confirmed that your parents and your little brother are dead, and then you have to watch them murdered again in front of you, so you have to kind of deal with their death twice. You didn't have to see them die, but then you got to see them die again. It's like a re-kill. This is like double emotions. I don't know. I was like, that's really interesting. But did I give a fuck in this movie? No. I started filling in what I thought would be interesting. That's when I know I'm bored. That's when I know I hate a movie. Is when I'm watching it and I'm writing a different film in my head later, like for later on. Like, oh man, if I made a zombie movie, I think it'd be really interesting to tackle the whole idea of people having to deal with death twice. I'm not saying it hasn't been done. Just saying it felt interesting to me in that moment. But then I kind of looked back at the scene and was thinking like, oh wait, I forgot. I don't give a shit about this scene. Like, I don't care about this character. Who's her family? Who's this girl? I don't know. She's dating the cameraman, and they have like no chemistry and nothing to sell me on their relationship at all. And he even drops her off at her house, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go. And he's like, all right, later. And then every single other person in the car, or the camp, or whatever the hell, is like, dude, you can't leave her here. Oh, I guess we should hang out. And everyone gets out of the car to go help her. Like, what? I don't. So I'm supposed to dislike this guy, who's named Jason, by the way, because found footage films, I mean, they have that POV thing. So I've talked about how realistic that makes them feel, and it feels even 10 times more realistic when the character's name is Jason. When everyone's looking at the screen, at the camera, and is looking at the person who's supposed to be you, and they're saying Jason, that should really invest me into the film. But this one sure as shit does not. In the opening of this movie, they are all on the news referring to the zombie virus as a hoax. Sound familiar? And the fake out friend scare, which is Jason and his girlfriend. She opens the door, you know, loud music, jump scare. It's actually just his girlfriend thing. Oh man, rough. The narration in the movie is completely unnecessary. I don't understand the necessity for the narration at all. Everything that's said is implied. Everything that is said is easily, like, assessed by the audience. So why is it there? Hold our hand? And it's done so dramatically. This is what I'm talking about. This is why it doesn't really hold up as a parody. The narration over the top of it feels like the narration in T2 Judgment Day. You know? Like, that's the Sarah Connor when she's talking over it and what happened, and you know, in during Judgment Day, and the no fate but what we make, and all that. Like, it sounds a lot like that. Now, T2 is a fucking masterpiece, and this is not. But I just don't understand the narration. It adds this very serious tone to the film, which shouldn't be there. And then the narration itself seems so pointless. And they even have like not flashbacks, but I don't even know what you call this. I guess it's like a reminder, like reminder scenes, a reminder flash, where the guy who plays the mummy, when he actually becomes the mummy, which is very self-referential, as I was saying. Excuse me. But they're like, oh, was he bitten? And then it like shows footage of his arm bitten, like up close. Like, that kind of, like in a found footage movie, and they flash to it like a flashback almost. Like, it's so poorly edited. It's so poorly conceived. The dialogue, almost all the dialogue in this film is dreadful. It's where I think that the moment in which I thought that this was probably a parody is when the deaf Amish guy shows up with dynamite and blows up some zombies. I mean, that line alone, that's comedy. That's joke. No fucking serious film would ever feature a deaf Amish guy with dynamite. The Amish people fucking carry dynamite around? Like, But this is what I'm saying. The film has no, coherent tone to it. And that's something, if I complain about anything on my channel more than uneven tones in a film, I don't know what it is. The only other thing I can think of is just like cat jump scares or just silly tropes that they constantly use that you're like, why would you still do this? As a modern filmmaker, like when I see it in an 80s film, I'm like, whatever. But when I see it in a brand new film, made clearly by horror film fans, who, just like me, always roll their eyes and go, why do they fucking do that? Why do they put this kind of shit in film still? Why do we have to have these tropes? Like, why does this exist? And then filmmakers that, come into this industry going, oh, I'm going to make this next great horror movie. They take those scenes that they fucking swear they hate, and then they throw them and insert them into a movie like this. That's baffling to me. I don't understand how that kind of shit happens. I think they think it's cute. Like, I know how to make a horror movie. I've seen a million, so I'm going to fucking just take everything I've seen from the past. But as I said, they hate that shit. Fake out friend scares? Does anybody like that? Have you... Seriously, please, in the comments below. Fake out friend scares. You okay with them? You like them? Have you ever liked them? Do they work for you? Fake out, cat scares. You like them? Do you? Come on, please. Comments below. These fucking tropes that they constantly put into movies. Do you like them? How the fuck do they keep getting into movies? I don't get that. I don't understand how filmmakers, and it's a whole crew of people. Like, people read these scripts, they approve them, and they go, yeah, we should put that in the movie. That doesn't still piss everybody off who loves this genre. I don't know. That I swear to God, guys, I promise you, if I ever make a film and I have actual say over it, let's say I write it and then some fucking asshole inserts a bunch of shit, I'll probably want to be an Alan Smithy at that point. Because I'll be like, no, you ain't put my name on nothing like that. Absolutely fucking not. No. You will not add bullshit to my film. So, it might suck. I'm not saying I'm going to make a good movie. It might be fucking The Room Part 2 for all I know. But, that being said, it will not feature any tropes. I promise you. I don't understand. I just don't understand. Although I'll probably, do some tropes in a very unique and kind of winky kind of way. But clever. And not just recycled shit like in this film. So yeah, anyway, and the whole people don't want to be filmed and oh, get the camera out of my face. That happens way too soon into the film. Like, it immediately makes everybody unlikable. Like, it's almost the first time we've ever seen anybody on film, and it's just a camera in their face, and they go, well, I don't want to, what is this? Fine, my name's this. Nah, and I'm from here. Fuck you, then. Fuck you, I don't even want to watch you. Like, it like instantly sets you up for characters that you don't like. Oh, God, I hate this movie. So annoying. So annoying that this is attached to this franchise. And there's some babes in the movie. The blonde especially. We even get to see her boobies for a whole 1 millisecond. Because there's that self-referential moment with the mummy. Where she's like, why is it my tits have to be pulled out? And how come I have to fall down? And then, of course, he becomes a zombie mummy later. And she falls down and her boobies come out. And it's like this wink to the audience. And the audience is like, huh. Okay. Cool. Didn't see that coming. It's like, and I mean, if you're going to show this chick's tits, let's see them. All right? Let's put them on display. Let's press them against the camera for a couple minutes. It'll make this film a fuck ton better. This girl shoots herself, and this is totally this guy's fault for accusing her of murdering people. It's like, it's on the news that there's this zombie outbreak, and they're clearly seeing all sorts of shit to suggest this. There's a cop that's on fire, and he's fucking still walking around, and there's guys that are in the street. And then he's like, those were humans, those were people. He might as well have been like, oh, that guy has a child and his child's got leukemia, and if he doesn't pay his payments, that kid's gonna die of leukemia. You murdered that guy and his kid by proxy. Like, he was really, really giving it to her in that scene, and then she goes and shoots herself. And then they take her to the hospital. I don't even understand what the whole point of like having her survive that was. So that just can bring them to the hospital, I guess, and then she just dies and they get, kind of really quick after they get there. I don't know, whatever. And then like, they just keep going from location to location, and no location really holds any interest. It's like, oh, we're here. Oh, we met this whole group of looters that they end up strong-arming into giving them stuff, and the chick's like, well, you're just gonna have to kill us if you don't want to give us your resources. It's like, yeah, you don't want to play that. You don't want to play that in an Armageddon type situation like that, when resources are scarce, when there is no law. It's lawless land. It's just kind of the dog eat dog, only the strongest survive kind of world. Don't be going into a place with a bunch of dudes with guns and tell them like, all right, you're just going to have to kill us, or you're going to have to give us a bunch of your stuff. And they actually give them the stuff. Bull fucking shit. That scene, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Like, she played off their morality in a zombie apocalypse when everyone's scared out of their minds and they're worried that their foodstuffs are going to run out and all. Get the fuck out of here. Playing hardball in that, playing hardball with your life, like, you're going to have to shoot me. And you don't even have to shoot them. You could just be like, no, get the fuck out. And just beat the shit out of one of them and be like, all right, who's next? And then they'll be like, all right, we'll leave. Like, the fact they didn't play hardball back at all, like, no, we're not going to give you the shit. You're still, I don't feel like killing you, but you're leaving. I'll make you fucking leave. I can guarantee you that. I'll club one of your fucking knees. I won't kill you, but I'll put you in agony. You want to walk around with a clubbed knee? It's just so stupid. He's like, all right. I guess it's supposed to be like he respects her. He respects her fucking, determination and her... Oh. So fucking dumb. I love when people turn on radios in movies and it's always they happen to catch the live broadcast of when shit just starts going down. It's always like some announcer, some DJ, whatever, and they're on there and they're talking for like 2 seconds and they're like, what's that? Oh my God, ah! And they're like, oh my God, you just so happen to tune in during that. 5 days has passed and you haven't touched the radio, and then as soon as you flip it on, the one last person broadcasting is killed in that moment. I mean, I get it. It's film conveniences. But as I say all the time, when it's in films like this where you're already hating it, you start to notice things that you typically wouldn't notice. Like, that's kind of something, like, it's happened in probably 1,000 movies that I've reviewed at this point, and I've never mentioned it before. But in this kind of movie, my brain gets time to wander and be like, yeah, isn't that kind of bullshit that every time they turn on the radio, it's every time they turn on the TV, just so happens to be when the fucking planes are hitting the building, you know? It's like, get out of here. The characters and the acting is just extremely subpar all across the board. And the fact that no one puts down the cameras to help. Now, I don't know how... No, okay. I do know how unbelievable this is because they're all friends. Now, if they didn't know each other, I would say might be true. Because that's one thing that I always get so annoyed about and no one else seems to care. But when someone's like, hey, Jason, you want to watch this crazy fucking video? I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the channel before, but here we'll go once again. If someone shows me a crazy video and they're like, dude, look at this, isn't this crazy? And I look at it, all I can sit there and think, and all I say to them the whole time is like, yeah, this is fucking crazy. It's crazy to me that someone would continue to keep filming when a child is being beaten. When a fucking person is like, you know, in a wheelchair and their brakes have given out and they're just like flying down a hill and the person's just filming. Oh, I better not help. I better film this for posterity. Like, how the fuck do people do that? How do people, like, somebody's getting bullied, if any of that kind of stuff. I get it when it's the cops, because it's like I need to take a document of this. There's not really much I can do about the cops. I don't want to get my ass shot too. Like, I can understand when it's the authorities. So that one I get. But pretty much any other time, I'm always sitting there going, put the fucking camera down and help. What are you doing? Why was it even like in your mind to grab your fucking phone and start recording? That's crazy to me. Whenever I see something crazy go down, I never think, oh, I need to record this. I'm like, I need help. So I don't understand any of that. But regardless, there's multiple times in this film where someone is being attacked. Friends are being attacked 2 to 3 feet away from 2 different cameramans, and they're just sitting there filming it up close. No chance in hell. No chance in hell. Instinctually, you would 100% help your friend. You would not continue to film. There's no fucking way. I don't buy it. Not in the slightest. And this whole like, we need to document it kind of thing just doesn't play well at all into this movie. I don't buy it at all. I never once bought, like, this is this guy's mission. He needs to document this for this and that. No. Because he's even, like, kind of almost feeling like he's trying to make a horror movie towards the end. And, like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on in this with him and his whole agenda here. Like I want... And he paid $100,000 for film school. Are there really $100,000 film schools? I'm sure there is, but fuck, dude. If you're paying $100,000 for a film school, you have overpaid. And I don't even know. I haven't even been looking at my notes. I already talked about all this. This CG blood spray. God awful. Please. No. And so I like how the guy breaks hydrochloric acid over somebody's head, and it, like, that's a cool scene. The brain, like, it melts into his brain. He finally collapses because the brain's been eaten away enough that I guess it kills it. But go ahead and take something, put liquid in it, and take it in your hand and break it over something. You have to push your hand through it. You can't just throw it. You have to push your hand through it onto something. And tell me how much liquid is on your hand. This guy gets 0 hydrochloric acid on his hand when he smashes a mason jar of it over some guy's head. It's just it's that kind of stuff that I just... In movies like this, it adds that irritation level of, like, the laws of physics don't apply at all. I get it. It's a monster movie. It's it's a zombie movie. So it's like, oh, you're questioning if there's hydrochloric acid on this guy's hands when there's fucking dead people up walking around. Yes, the fuck I am, Because even though zombies are what we've agreed on in this scenario, okay? That's the level that I'm allowing to what's the words I'm trying to think of here? My believability of all of this. That's where I'm allowed to go in this moment. But liquid not spraying in a certain direction, that's not in our rules. That's not anywhere in the contract that we signed at the beginning of this movie. That's what I feel, man. That's what I feel. What they're asking you, the suspension of disbelief. That's what I was trying to come up with a minute ago. There's a contract that's signed at the beginning of a movie of the suspension of disbelief. And for me, it was zombies. I signed up for zombies. I did not sign up for the spray of liquid and that not happening. And that people wouldn't put their fucking cameras down to help their friends. And that fucking people could be hardballed out of their food when they have all the weapons and all the power. I did not sign up for that level of disbelief. Okay? So write that fucking down. You guys take notes for once. It's a fucking contract. Ridiculous. And what the hell? National Guards come and rob them. That's extremely realistic. I do like the scene where they take the kid and they shove the gun into his mouth and they fire through his head at other people. This has been done plenty of times before, but I don't know if I've ever seen it done on a child. So that was pretty cool. Look at this. This fucking review is boring me. The movie bored me so much that this review is boring me. And some of you, I'm sure. So give the thumbs down and then put a thumb up your ass. Mummy movie, callback, tits, fall, ha ha ha. These are my notes. Okay. During that mummy scene with the blonde chick and the tits and all that stuff, she straight up has an Alexandra Daddario, Texas Chainsaw 3D, do your thing, cuz line in this. Where she looks at the camera and says, "Don't mess with Texas." And then she even has a Halloween 5 moment with the cops with the fucking circus music, and you're like, why is this inserted here? This is so misplaced in this film. Yeah, same thing here. We got a combination of two of the fucking lamest scenes in the history of horror here, where you got the "Do Your Thing, Cuz" and the circus music from Halloween 5, and they're kind of mashed together. Don't mess with Texas, and then it plays some fucking Yankee Doodle Dandy type Texan song or some bullshit kind of melody that you're like, it's supposed to be some kind of Texan song, and you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? This is where you're like, so this is parody, because the mummy ripping the tits out and the fall down, the parody and all that. You're like, okay, and then they do the Texas and the music thing, and you're like, this is comedy. And then a minute later, this girl's doing the narration. It's all serious and monotoned and I thought about maybe not showing this next scene, but what you really need to understand is blah, blah, blah. And you're like, so this is serious? This is serious? Or is this not? Oh my God. Terrible. Terrible. And then even the most unbelievable moment of this entire film is when there is a panic room and this girl tries to talk a guy to go into there. A girl tries to talk a guy into going into this panic room with her, and her suggestion is that they can play Nintendo till the end of time together. And the guy says no. Bullshit. Some girls suggesting to play Nintendo in a room together forever. And bullshit that a guy is denying it if that was to ever happen. I heard that and I was like, oh my god, I'm good. I'm going. I'll go. Even if there isn't a zombie apocalypse, some hot ass chick asks me to go into a panic room with her and play Nintendo for a long time. I'm there, baby. Sign me up. So yeah, I don't know if you guys caught it, but I didn't like this movie much. I just want to be clear. I just want to make sure that we're all clear on this. Okay? We're good? All right. So, a masterpiece. A masterpiece. 4 stars. A masterpiece. When I went on IMDb, in the Metascore, the first few reviews, one was 100. 100. 100. Even the people who are loving this movie, even the people who are sitting here disagreeing with this the whole time and are like, I really love this movie. Would you give this film a 100? Would you put it on the level of something like a Shawshank Redemption, Godfather type film? 100. It's a perfect film for what it is what this person is saying. For what it went for, it's the top of its game. This is as good as a found footage film could ever possibly be. That's what 100 to me means. Do you, the person who says that they love this movie, who's sitting here disagreeing with me, do you think this is 100? Do you think this is a masterpiece? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm genuinely curious. Does anybody think this is a masterpiece or 100 out of 100? Because if you think so, that's awesome. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong. I just don't see how anybody could think that's possible. 100. Even films that I defend like crazy and I think are fucking amazing, and I think people are out of their minds, would never give them 100. Not even close. I'd be realistic about it. And I wouldn't give it a score anyway, but if I had to, I sure shit wouldn't give it 100. There's not a lot of films I would give 100 to. 100. Now, one single thing is wrong with the film in my eyes. 100. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. So, look at my hair. What's going on with my fucking hair? I don't know. That's better, I guess. Whatever. Fuck off. Me. Like my hair. Not you guys. Well, you can fuck off too, because I'm out of here.